So now, Levi, talk to me about you're from Amsterdam, and matter of fact, before we get into that BMW stuff that you're doing, I remember when I was in Amsterdam, I had never seen this before. There was the 318 Ti, the little coupe. I don't know what actually, the model it is, and it was green. And this is in the early 90s, right? Or mid 90s. I'm over there. And, I'm down there by Central Station. So, it's nothing but bikes and trains. And I mean, you're just like standing like this as a pedestrian because it's just like all this stuff going on. And this green BMW comes on with green tail lights. I had never seen like, green tail lights and the custom work that was done. So tell me about, your love for the 2002 and how you got into like BMW and all that, and how you got into this side of the work.
Well, first of all, I'm from, I didn't live in Amsterdam. Actually,
Okay.
I was not too far because it's a super small country with like
Okay.
1.5 hour driving. When I moved to Mexico about 2 years ago, my wife, she is from Mexico. We met, we got married, and right after we married back home in Holland, and we moved here. And but I was looking for work, and because I didn't have a job here yet in Mexico, I met Logan and his wife Amy, and I heard about what he was doing, and I remember like the first time he told me, I'm like, that sounds cool. That sounds really interesting. And he showed me around like in the workshop he had, and the parts he was doing. I'm like, this is really nice, because I enjoy working with my hands. I really enjoy doing that, and like most people here, most foreigners here, they teach English or they work online, and it's honestly not something I would enjoy. I'd like to work with my hands. So when I heard about it, I thought about it, talked about it with my wife, and I texted Logan. I'm like, hey, if you need some help, like I'd be interested, in doing this stuff too. So Logan really he taught me everything, how to do it, how to restore the parts, what parts are what. He introduced me into the 510 world, which was honestly for me it was new, because back home in the Netherlands we didn't have the 510s like they had here. So I never seen them before actually.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was really nice, and he told me what all the parts were, and of course I was very well known with the BMW cars already, because we have a lot of them back where we are, because I live super close to Germany, and in the Netherlands we have a lot of them too. A lot of restoration shops for BMWs are actually in the Netherlands too, and we work for them as well now, because I can talk to them in Dutch. I have the connection.
You guys are killing it, man. You're all over the world.
Yeah, no, it helps. It definitely helps, and it's been nice. We, like Logan probably mentioned already, we work not only on O2s, but we have had really cool and interesting BMW stuff as well. We have a lot of E9 parts. Almost always we have some E9 parts by now.
Even CSL stuff.
Yeah, E9 CSL, and we even have a customer who just decided to send all of his trim. He made like a giant wooden crate, and shipped it down to us. And we have done some new class BMWs with some rare parts. We actually finished those up now. The customer is going to ship some BMW Isetta stuff trimmed to us, and so yeah, it's been great, and
that's awesome.
I really like the BMWs, and we always joke around with each other, when it comes to BMW parts or Datsun parts, and
it's getting to where the Datsun stuff's worth more.
Yeah.
Well, the whole JDM market is blowing up right now. A lot of people are taking more interest, and you're seeing them even in at some of the big auction houses are starting to get, the Z's, the Fair Ladies are coming through, and stuff like that. The NSXs are going through the roof right now and stuff like that. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a huge market for JDM going forward. So it's a great investment. But so you're getting a lot of rare parts, and you're dealing with this stuff. Is there any thoughts of maybe remanufacturing some of this stuff, like making molds and templates to be able to maybe have your own OEM kind of like parts?
Honestly, it is something that we've considered because being here, it's easy to access that kind of stuff if you know
Hmm.
the right people for fairly cheap, for that's fairly inexpensive.
Yeah.
But honestly, what we do, we kind of like the niche that we have. You know,
Yeah. I hear you.
the reproduction parts in our experience are just never the same. You know,
Got you.
we've dealt with some reproduction part, like with the E9 stuff.
Yeah.
We one of the first sets of E9 taillights we did, we got some reproduction taillight lenses. These are $100,000 cars when they're done right, and the
Hmm.
reproduction taillight lenses we got didn't fit. They weren't even
Mm.
close to the like.
True.
Normally
Yeah.
we restore because we can restore pretty much anything, including plastic lenses. So we prefer to restore the old stuff, but this customer had sent these new ones with it, and they were honestly terrible. So like,
Trash.
yeah, the other stuff that we've seen that's reproduced, it's just not the same quality as the original stuff was. And I feel like there was always going to be a market for the
Hmm.
real deal stuff. And
Yeah.
as long
Well,
as we can keep, bringing that stuff back to life, we'll always have those customers who'd rather have the original.
Yeah.
that's
It's
right.
just,
That's right.
it's only going to
And
be
with
original once.
the reproduction kind of goes against to what we are because
Okay.
we restore original parts. That is our name. That's our business.
That's what we do.
True.
So reproduction is always it
Yeah.
goes
So
against us.
so
Yeah.
I stand corrected, but I appreciate the explanation and that again, like you said at the beginning of this, it's a dying art. So the fact that you guys can do this, kudos to you, for keeping it real, keeping it original, using the real deal stuff. So I love to hear it, and that's awesome, man. So I'm just thankful that we cross paths. It won't be our last time. We're gonna have to exchange some shirts over there because I like how those shirts are going down. So I got to get some merchandise over there off of you guys as well. But we're gonna keep in touch with you guys. This is just our first meet and greet here. But I'm definitely gonna be featuring. We'll follow up with you guys and see what you're working on, and maybe we'll follow your parts and see where they go and say, hey, this was here, and you might have pictures of some of your finished product and things like that because you're helping make those $100,000 bills, right? I mean, you guys are help making that happen. So it's got to be a great feeling to know that your hard labor, your passion is going to somebody with that same passion, and it just keeps building on top of each other, and then you see that finished product. That's got to be an awesome feeling.
Yeah,
It definitely is.
yeah. Honestly, for me, I think that's the coolest part of it because I have a 510 wagon, and I could never afford the parts that we have in the shop. Like, I'll never actually have any of this stuff. So it's super cool to be able to. For me, it's the history of it. It's the challenge of doing something we haven't done before, doing new stuff. Right now, we have some parts in the shop that are. We have a 69 Bluebird Coupe white stripe grill with cast bezels, which is probably the single rarest 510 grill
Wow.
ever made. It's worth probably $4,000 restored. And we have tons of the Bluebird taillights from customers. So just getting to see those super cool original old parts that I would have never got a chance to see, and then get a chance to bring them back to, as new, and get to see them on the customer's cars. It's like we have a little piece of, Triple S and all those cars that are out there.
That's so cool. So what's your turnaround like? I mean, how long is your process? I mean, is it, different for every part, or but generally, like, what's your turnaround on stuff? And how backed up are you? If somebody like wants something right now.
Well, we always have a waiting list. We're always booked in advance. It's Levi and I are the only two that are full time in the shop. We have Manny also who works for us. He doesn't quite work as much as we do, but he definitely helps out. So with the three of us in the shop, that's it. And we never have less than 30 customers on the list at any
That's
given
awesome.
time.
That's good.
So right now the minimum wait is 6 months. But
wow. Okay.
I used to stress about that and think nobody's gonna want to wait that long. But you know what? It's not that uncommon. With other things like this, people wait just as long or longer.
Yeah.
For instance, for carburetor rebuilds and restoration, or for gauge rebuild and restoration, it's a minimum of that, or longer. Sometimes
that's true. Yeah,
and what we do.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like what we do sometimes is a lot more involved than those things. Especially with the cast repair that we do and the different kind of materials that we work with. every project is different, and it's impossible to really gauge exactly how long it's going to take until we get into it. And so we really are gracious when our customers are willing to work with us with that. You know, don't mind waiting for the quality, because, like you said, they know in the end it'll be worth the wait. So,
And
Absolutely.
it takes, what a lot of people fail to understand is the time that goes into restoring these parts, even though they can be tiny in comparison to the whole car. But it can take a lot of time. We for example, the 510 grills or the O2 grills, so many hours are being put into that, because most of the work we have to do by hand.
well, how many
Because-
hours do we have on O2 grill?
What do you say?
Like 100, over 100.
Yeah, easily. That's true. Because they're fragile, they're old, they're rare. We want to be careful with them, so we can't use big machines. We don't want to do that as well.
Right.
So it's usually all done by hand. Takes a lot more time, takes a lot of work, but the end results, as you can see in our pictures, socials, it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and what I was gonna say is that, you know, I had a car. Well, I'm restoring an Acura Legend 95, Acura Legend 6-speed, and you know, it sat at a shop for almost 2 years and nothing was happening with it. And then I finally brought it back home, and now it's in my garage. And I'm, like I said, I'm an IT guy, but I'm learning to do this stuff myself. So I totally get what you're saying. And you know, it's a patience game. This is not for the swift, right? This is something that takes years. And as much as I go to shows and stuff like that, you know, I talk to people. I'm like, how long did it take you to get it to this point? People like 7 years, 9 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So this is not a fast process. And I think people who are really serious about this understand that. And that's why they don't mind being on that waiting list. They're probably like, 6 months, that's it. All right, cool. You know, you let me know when you're ready. You know what I mean? So I get that. And I think it's just a great thing what you guys are doing. So glad to meet you guys. Like I said before, I mean, you know, kudos to you guys. I pray this video gives you tons more business and makes that waiting list that much longer. But you know, everybody needs to check out SSS Restorers. You guys are doing some phenomenal work, and you know, I wish you all the success in the future. And like I said, this is just the start of our relationship. We're gonna keep in touch. So thanks for your time today, guys. Is there anything else you want to say as we get ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, no, it's worth it. I mean, like Logan said, we are in Mexico. Don't be afraid of that, because our reputation speaks for itself. You can check out our pictures on our socials. You can check out our reviews on our socials. They speak for themselves too. We've been in business now for over 4 years and never had any problems. We know what we're doing. And it's worth it, because your car will look that much nicer. They can be small parts, but you can compare it to like the frame of a nice painting. You know, like the painting, it's what it's all about. But when it's in a nice frame, you know, it that much nicer. You know, so it really helps out. And you know, like I said, we know what we're doing. We have the contacts. We can do almost anything. We have the experience now. Yeah, like a lot of people vouch for us now, which is really cool. We're super grateful for that. Most of our customers are honestly awesome people, and so big shout out to them too.
Yeah,
right, cool.
And it's important when you get this kind of work done that you choose somebody who knows what they're doing. You know, we've had customers that have found cheaper quotes, but they tell us a little bit about the process. They're like, like you know, you get what you pay for.
You took the words out of my mouth.
And we're not the kind of people that are gonna overcharge just because, you know, we charge exactly what it's worth, because we know how much labor is going to be in it. We know how much, you know, materials are going to be in it. We're not in this to get rich, you know. we're in it to provide a service because we love doing this. You
That's
know?
awesome.
And it supports us. We're happy with that. We don't need any more. So we'll give you a fair price, but you'll know that it's done right if you send it to us, and it won't get done better.
Cool. There's nothing else to say after that, man. So SSS Restorers, you know, thank you again for joining us today, and you know, and for telling us about your business, man. So props to you. And you know, like I said, we're gonna put all your social media and everything down there below. And man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep those 510s looking good. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Sounds good, man.
We'll see you.
So tell me a little something more about the 510 wagon that you guys are working on. I know you're trying to get some sponsorships and stuff like that. So do you have the shell and stuff already? I mean, what's going on with that?
It's a daily driver. It's my only car.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. That's even better.
So kind of a crazy story behind the car because, you know, it was something that I've always wanted to do is take this to the next level and do a car. But, you know, I just, like I said, we don't do this to get rich. We don't have a lot of money. I didn't have the money to build a car. This business pays the bills, and that's, you know, that's pretty much it. So I had a friend. Yeah, I presented the idea to a friend in the States, and she was completely all for it. She invested in buying the car and helping us get it done. So, but the crazy thing is, when we were looking for a car in Mexico, the Mexican 510s were different. You know, a lot of people know that. Some people don't. Mexican 510s were not the same as Japanese or American 510s. The sedans, they had the J series pushrod motor, and they didn't have independent suspension. They were just it's not really the same. You know, it would still be cool to build one, but I was kind of looking more for a wagon because the wagons were pretty much the same everywhere except for the engine. They had a different engine here, but that's easy to change, you know. But when we were looking for a car, I found this one in Mexico City. And when I went to ask for the pictures of the paperwork, he sends me a picture of an Oregon title.
Oregon.
It turns out the car was bought about 2 hours from where I grew up in Washington.
Oh, wow.
So I, like, total by chance that I
That's meant for you.
Yeah. So the story behind it was bought in 1984 in Milton Freewater, Oregon, and probably by a seasonal worker who then brought it with him to Mexico when he came home. And it's been there. It's been in Mexico since 1984. But so it was an American car with an L series engine and everything, and it was in really good condition. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
we made a deal with the guy, and my wife and I had the crazy adventure of driving that car all the way from Mexico City here, which is, how many miles is that?
I was about to say, it's got to be a little ride.
It was like a 3-day trip. We took it slow, and the car was running horribly when we got it. So like, I'm on the highway in Mexico in this thing. It won't go over 40 miles an hour. It was terrible.
Wow.
It broke down a few times. Like, I don't know how we survived, honestly. But anyway, we got it home, and then see where we live. We live at 7,000 feet elevation, and you have to climb a mountain right before you get up here. And that car, it made it all the way to that mountain, got halfway up the mountain, and it was like, nope, I'm done.
Wow.
Our friends happened to drive by, and while we were there, they didn't even know we were there, and we got them to tow us home. But anyway, since then I redid the motor and fixed all those drivability issues and got it reliable, so we drive it now. But
nice.
That's the project for the shop, and thanks to Isaiah Taylor, he's a big guy in the Datsun world. He's a good friend of mine. He runs D-Pan and D-Pan GT. He offered to host us at SEMA next year.
Oh, wow.
That's an amazing opportunity. And so that's kind of the goal, is to try to have the car there. I can't guarantee it'll be there. I don't know if I'm going to have the funds to get it done in time. But that's the plan. Another thing that I forgot to mention that we offer now is upholstery. We got an amazing upholstery guy.
Wow.
Yeah, so
he's world class.
Yeah, seriously.
That's good. I bet, being down there in Mexico, like we talked about earlier, yeah, definite.
So we have all of the stuff we need to build an awesome car. We just, if we can get the funding to do it, we'll be there at SEMA.
Yeah, well, hey, anybody who's watching this, you see they need that funding, help them out. So yeah, that's awesome, man. So thanks for telling us about that too, because I definitely wanted to capture that. So that's great. And what we say here at Extinct Legends is that every car has a story, and that car has a story. It's from not far from where you grew up and everything like that. It's meant to be for you, and I know it's going to happen, man. You guys are doing amazing work, and it's going to happen, man. It's in the cards for you. And hopefully we're going to be hopefully we're at SEMA next year too. We were supposed to be this year, and I kind of dropped the ball on that. But I'm definitely trying to be in SEMA next year. So
hopefully we'll all be there. If it works out, we're going to drive that all the way from here all the way to there. So that'll be a pretty epic road trip. And of course, we'll have more of a story to go with the car. So.
Yeah, I bet. Definitely. That's cool.